Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. Mr. Zoom here on Twitter saying he sold 50% of his portfolio a month ago and the rest of the 50% shortly thereafter. So the market right now, guys, down 20 to 30% since both times he sold. He says people called me stupid. Sure, I can be completely off target and off the mark sometimes. The markets may go up, but I highly doubt that we're not entering a bear market. Guys, I mean, it's looking that way. There are signs pointing very strongly to the fact that we are entering a bear market right now. I mean, there are some indications that it could still be a retracement to the downside. I mean, like we saw back in January of this year, market did retrace over 30%. And, from the new all-time high, we are down about 27. It did retrace about 30, as you guys can see in there, before coming back up. So now we are down only about 27%. But Mr. Zoom is saying here, my odds were in a bear market is about at 70 to 75%. Bottom line, though, what I've done here is position myself perfectly for when the prices drop. So I'm excited to be buying when everyone else has just started realizing they should have taken profits. So what do you guys think? Are we in a bear market yet? Of course, cryptocurrencies like XRP have also moved down. We have seen a bit of a retracement on the XRP chart, which is looking, kind of promising here. Now we are basing in this former level of support that we saw back on Monday. So hopefully we can maintain that level in here, and hopefully we do see some higher highs. Now that would bring XRP back up above this particular level right in here, and that would be in and around $2.24 per coin. So that's the next step for XRP. If you guys do believe we are going to see some more upside. For more information on what I believe, what I've been doing so far, guys, where the next targets are going to be, you guys can follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. Only $5 a month, but you got to subscribe and stay subscribed to lock into that price. Prices are going to be going up soon. Check it out if that is something you're interested in. We've got Rob Art here also giving us the skivvy, okay? 13 points to why he thinks markets are bearish right now. We are roughly 4 years into the cycle, and that is the big one for me. All stock indexes have stuck at all-time highs. Even silver and the Nikkei erased decades of downward price action. Number 3, he says Ethereum went below 3,000 instead of 2xing from its previous all-time highs. We saw gold going parabolic after ranging for years. Bitcoin did an 8x from 15.6 thousand. Some alts like BNB, Solana, and XRP even retraced to their former all-time highs. Some even made new ones. Despite that narrative, everyone is bearish. My feed is mostly filled with hundreds of people, he says, trying to call the bottom and saying buy the dip. The DXY and Bitcoin dominance aren't crashing abruptly, but that's an interesting point because generally speaking, that occurs during a bear market. Most market participants are still long because most altcoins haven't done anything. And that is, part of this problem. The altcoin market has not really done much. Putting things into perspective, though, guys, there's over 27.3 million altcoins in the crypto space. And back in 2017, that number was, I think, only a couple of thousand altcoins. So, you consider where people are putting their money. It's interesting how the market psychology really is getting to people here. So getting good news like XRP ETFs, government reopening, nonstop bullish targets, that is not doing everything. Every other tweet is Michael Saylor bought more Bitcoin, bullish. Institutions are buying. Institutional adoption is here. This time, there's not going to be a crash. Publicly listed companies are now worth $1 to $5 trillion in market cap. All the permanent bullish profiles that are always popular near tops have been bullish during 80% Bitcoin crashes in the previous 2 cycles are still very bullish and popular. He did give a market report on his Patreon. Rob is saying he is 90% out of the market at the moment. We did take a look at the market briefly here. You guys can see market cap is down by another 0.42% in the last 24 hours. So creeping slowly closer to $3 trillion. Fear and greed still at 15, which is devastating, I think, for most people. You guys can see most altcoins today are in the red. Well, actually, that's not true. There are some in the green. A mix, I guess we could say, of green and red. So a bit of a transitional period for cryptocurrencies. Lark Davis saying, according to the classic 4-year cycle, Bitcoin just entered bear market territory. This could mean only one thing. Either the 4-year cycle is dead or we've just entered a bear market. Well, it's been 4 years. I don't know why that's wrong. Given the macro backdrop and how this market has evolved, I'm leaning towards the former over the latter. So he is saying 4-year cycle being dead. However, this is right on track. If we're bearish, 4-year cycle is in fact intact. Guys, it's November 2025. Look at where Bitcoin was in November of 2022. Okay, I'm just going to throw this back on the daily just to show you guys where Bitcoin was in November of 2022. And I know exactly where it is on the chart, right down in here, guys. The lowest point it was at 16,500 or 600, give or take, in November, in around this time, November 2022. So you count from the top of this bull market, this was November 21, and that is 1, okay, 2, 3, 4. So the theory is we're now at the top of this 4-year cycle. I guess Lark Davis can't count. It's okay. James Bull also bringing up a good point about altcoins. In 2017, there were 1,300 cryptos. Okay. And I was saying 27 million. I think that was the number. Only 1,300 with more than 1 million in daily volume. Now in 2025, there are also about 1,300 cryptos. So this is an interesting metric with more than 1 million in volume. And once you go to 2,000 cryptos, it's already less than 200,000 in daily volume. So guys, a lot of the altcoins that have been created, a lot of them aren't even big enough to command the kind of volume they need to get up to exorbitant prices. Remember, this is just page 1, and this page has 100 cryptocurrencies on it, of hundreds of pages here on CoinMarketCap. Obviously not going to go through them all, but 92 is just the beginning of the list, and so it just keeps going from there. Oh no, and this shows only 9,100 cryptocurrencies, so maybe we aren't even seeing them all on this list. Kyle here bringing up an interesting point with regard to the Bitcoin death cross, but you got to be careful about some of these guys cherry-picking data.
Bitcoin just printed a death cross. The 50-day moving average slid under the 200-day moving average. Now, people look at this and assume something huge ended. But here's what the data actually shows. Historically, when Bitcoin is still in its broader uptrend, these crosses often show up at the point of maximum fear, which is right now. The stats prove it. And over the last decade, Bitcoin's average return after a death cross is positive across most timeframes. And the biggest gains usually show up 3 to 9 months later. We're talking average gains of 26%, 52%, and 85% over those windows.
And although that is true, sometimes it's not. And I can show you guys that on the daily chart. I'm going to add this indicator. He was saying the moving cross? I want to be sure I have the right indicator here. Yeah, MA cross 50 over 200, MA cross 50 over 2. So we got it listed there on the chart, and we got to change these metrics here. 50, we'll call it 50 over 200. Okay, so guys, this is what we're seeing, and as you guys can see from his chart here, he was looking at pretty much 2023, 2024, 2025 on this chart. So I mean, yeah, if you take it from the most bullish years, yeah, we crossed the death cross, then moved up, crossed the death cross, moved up, crossed the death cross, moved up. And so what are we to assume here? Well, we're crossing the death cross, and yeah, we're going to move up. But if you take it from the top of 2021, a different story emerges. This is a bear year. We crossed the cross, and we continue to move down for about a year. So don't cherry pick information, or at least if you're going to cherry pick information, you should say these are during bull years. I mean, I like the data, but you got to take the whole picture into account. Now, this is another interesting metric here that I wanted to share with you guys. Stetus posting this, worried about XRP price action. This I'm taking a little more seriously. He says this is why he's not. We're still moving inside the same year-long range, so $1.90 to $3.50, and it's all just noise. And so what he's noticing here, guys, the structure is still technically holding up everything above $1.90. I would call it $1.96 if I'm going to be honest. Let's bring up the XRP chart here. I'm going to just remove that cross there just to give you guys a better idea of what I'm seeing here. So currently we are seeing XRP just kind of hovering around $2.11 right in here. And if I throw a line on there, you guys can see we're actually doing pretty good in terms of holding up the lows of this channel that we've been in for the last year. Even over here, we did dip down. We did come back up. Now we're dipping down, and guys, we're upholding these lows. So, other than a few times where we did see some wicks to the downside, again, $1.96, I would throw it somewhere on there. And the reason why I would throw it on there, Even at that point here, you guys can see wick down, wick down. We wicked down in here. We also wicked down in there. We came down a little further back in April, wicked down in here, and we haven't even gone to these lows here now. The reason why I bring this up, oh, of course, this is the Coinbase chart. Doesn't have the full history on here. But the reason I bring this up, I'm just going to bring up this other chart here, and I'm just going to throw this on 196, because back in April of 2021, when XRP did reach its inter-year high at that point, that was former resistance. So when we zoom out here, you guys can also see on the XRP chart, former resistance. That was also tapped up in here on the weekly chart. So you guys can see back in December, we did close on the week at $1.96 right before XRP did make that first all-time high, use that as resistance in 2021. And now we are using that as support in 2025. So here we have it, guys, $1.96. We're still holding up quite nicely here, and this is why Stetus is saying he's still bullish. So all very great points. The macro picture, too, is looking very promising. BMNR Bulls here posting this. Congressman Begich just said the U.S. will be buying $1 million of Bitcoin soon. You think they're going to be buying on this dip?
Bitcoin Act establishes the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, a federal initiative to ensure that the United States holds a meaningful position in the most important decentralized financial network on Earth. With an eye to fiscal responsibility and innovation, the legislation outlines a plan to phase in the acquisition of up to 1 million Bitcoin, or roughly 5% of its total final supply over 5 years. Importantly, this will be done without raising taxes or increasing government debt. The Bitcoin Act is designed to be budget neutral, relying on Federal Reserve remittances, which exceeded $76 billion in 2023, gold certificate revaluations, unlocking additional capital without new spending, and updates to the Exchange Stabilization Fund. These mechanisms allow us to build a strategic reserve without burdening taxpayers, while also potentially offsetting long-term national debt.
So this has been the plan, and hopefully the government does execute on it. Of course, more XRP ETFs are also coming out. James Seifert just posted this yesterday. Our base case is that the Grayscale XRP ETF is going to go live on Monday. So if you guys are watching this video on the day that I'm releasing it, it is Thursday, November the 20th. And so just in a few days, it's going to go live, and so will the Grayscale Doge ETF. He also thinks the Franklin Templeton ETF could go live on the same day, so a lot is going to be happening next week. The Grayscale ETF for XRP is going to be, the ticker is going to be GXRP, so we're going to keep an eye out for that. We also have CFTC's Caroline D. Pham, okay? She just greenlit banks to go full throttle on tokenized assets. So again, bullish macro factors going to bring money back in. Institutions hopefully going to be flooding the market. Listen to this.
Prohibited banks from engaging in digital asset activities without getting a letter of non-objection from the bank regulators. The infamous SAB 121, which I think the SEC forgot that banks are public companies and that banks custody things. So, clearly getting that rescinded by acting chairman Uyeda on the second day, I think, in office was huge. So banks can do these activities. Of course, JP Morgan has been very active in the digital asset space, as has BNY, as has Citi and all the other banks. It's been quiet. Now I think you're going to be able to see them really accelerate. So all of these projects that everybody's been working on since 2016, now we're going to start seeing more deployment, more volume, and so on and so forth. And a lot of it's been done, frankly, through portfolio companies and strategic equity investments. And so you'll see that deployment. But it's really the bank regulators and making sure, again, that the bank regulators are comfortable with the banks, with their risk governance frameworks, and then a lot's going to start to happen.
So we're seeing all of this being built up. Of course, a new financial system is being built in the background, a global financial system. Now, Yoshitaka Kitao was just recorded on at a conference here on a panel. Looks like everybody is wondering what this meant. This was originally tweeted out by Subjective Views. We got Digital Perspectives here wondering what it means. Also, Mike Manfield trying to get Sento Sumo Saba's attention here. Can you please translate this for us? Of course, this is in Japanese. Here's what Yoshitaka Kitao had to say, okay?
Ripple is also working on a stable coin called Ripple, and we will be collaborating with them in Japan. Also, we hold a 9% stake in Ripple Labs, which is the parent company, so we are an external shareholder. The current market capitalization of XRP is around 27 trillion yen, but the amount that hasn't been released yet, either in e-closing or on hand, is probably a little more than 423%. When it's released, it will have a huge value.
So he means the escrow.
Dot. My own will also have a significant value.
Okay, so you guys can see that was a little confusing there. We have the AI translation trying to get this correct. I don't feel like the AI translation really did a good job. And so I was trying to decipher what some of this text means here. And so what I ended up doing was I took a photograph of it on my phone, and there's actually a translate feature. So I took a screen grab of this particular image here, or it was value. So it was scrolling. Here is the image from my phone. I think there are a few more now. Again, this translation is not that great. It's going to be the translation from the translation. When I release it next time, value will be born. So I think what he meant was once the XRP escrow is released, the true value will be unlocked. Now, the question is, does he mean the XRP escrow being released over time? So is it still going to take several years? Or does he mean it could be released all at once? And what does that mean for XRP price? Of course, if it's released all at once, guys, this thing is going to shoot to the moon. If the true value of XRP is finally unlocked and XRP is being used at scale, well, are we going to see a $91 XRP sooner rather than later? If you guys didn't catch the video I did on that, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner. There's so much to consider here. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. And for more opinions on where the market's going to go, again, you guys know where to follow me, patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. Right now, it's only $5 a month. That price will be going up soon. So you got to subscribe and stay subscribed if you want to lock into that $5 price. A lot is going on right now, very active. I also have the Working Money Channel merch store if you guys are interested in purchasing some Working Money Channel merch. Thanks to everybody who's been purchasing so far. It's all very helpful, and I sincerely thank all of you guys for helping to support the channel. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.